Hi there again, everybody. Welcome back to Prestige Auctions. It's aftermath time once again. This was for yesterday's auction, which was the 12th of July, and it was quite an interesting day. I sort of looked at the auction this week and thought, can't see loads of value there, but it surprised me, as always, a very, very busy room, which was the surprise of the day because it was extremely hot outside again, quite warm in the auction room, but there was a little bit of a breeze that was coming, which kind of helped things. So plenty of people turned up for the auction, and it sort of it started busy, went a bit quieter, then went busy again. We had a load of printer problems as well, so I had to rush out, and goodness knows what else. But it wasn't a bad day. But let's have a look at what actually sold. Well, we started off at lot number 1, which was this little Fairbee, and he didn't make much money, and I think that was how it kind of started. These bits and bobs weren't making a lot, but then some of these little collectibles. Now, some people have the good sense to put collectibles away, not open them, or look for particular subjects and things. And of course, one of the ideas of the aftermath is try and give you some tips and pointers of some of the things to look out for in the future. Well, all of these small collectibles here were selling. The rise and fall of the Third Reich, they made a few quid as well, from what I remember. So you can often find stuff like that sort of kicking around in charity shop, bookshops and things like that. So, you know, they are things to look out for. Right, what else was there? Let's have a quick look down here. So as we came down, we got through some of the boxes of assorted, and, you know, they were doing the normal money. There was no doubt about that. There was a few bids kicking around for this kind of stuff, though. The scales made a few quid, so did the clocks. And plenty of bids for them. And these number 48 here, these were the fishing lights. And the fishing lights there, they were the port and starboard. And if you looked at the plugs on these, then these were of the time, so they were still with the sockets that they've had on the boat. So they were quite nice pieces, and there was a few hands in the air for those. And I seem to remember them making around, was it £20 to £30 in the end, something like that. So TARDISes, they sold. There's a lot of art stuff in the sale this week. Now, art stuff can sell well if it's good quality, and sometimes it doesn't. These 2 marine radios there was also an aerial down the back as well. Again, 20 something pound. Thought they might have done a touch better. Surprise to me was this lot here. There was lots of bids for all of these trading cards and cigarette cards, which isn't always the case, and you know, they can be a very hard sell. Don't get me wrong, they weren't making loads of money, but there were bids for them, which is nice to see. As we came down here, we came onto this lot here, and when I see this in the house, I was quite excited about these because I do like this sort of thing. These old sort of model engineer workshop stuff where they make up little steam engines, ones that will work off spirit burners and things like that. They didn't do a whole lot of money, to be fair. You know, they were sort of anywhere between 4 and 30 quid. But when you actually look very closely at them, they were okay. But a lot of the collectors want them absolutely pristine and that. So they didn't make loads of money. Got on some more toys. Box toys did okay. Even the Duracell rabbit sold. And as we came down here, most of this stuff was selling. Most of these collectibles. Magazines are selling quite well at the moment as well. I'm not saying bring me all your take-a breaks because I'm not talking about them ones. Rinso, there you go. That enamel sign, original one. Was a good item. I think I want to say it did about 160 quid in the end, but there was a few interested parties for that one, not just dealers but privates alike as well. As we came down here, more stuff. Stained glass. The stained glass stuff sold okay as well. Every time we seem to get this stuff in, 20s, 30s, £40 each time, because it's a good seller. And it's the sort of thing, again, that you may be able to find kicking around on Facebook Marketplace and what have you, if you can get in there quick and pick it out. These here, 194. These were the Pyrex pans. Don't see these very often anymore. I think they did 30 odd quid as well. Again, sort of thing you might find in a charity shop. So always get looking. Look for these bargains. Watch these aftermaths. Watch the auction videos. Try and find out what the stuff's making. That way you'll find out how to make money. Shells. Now, again, we say this every time we get good shells, and when they get them that size, if you can pick these up cheap, then pick them up, because most of shells and that now have got orders on. You can't take them out of the sea like you used to be able 2 years ago. So when they're sort of around Caribbean islands or Mediterranean islands and that, they won't let you take them anymore. So just, bear that in mind. That's why the price sometimes goes up. This there, 234, that metal kit, that was a little bit different. Needs a bit of research, that one, I think. And then we got onto the jewellery cabinet. Started off, some of the stuff was quiet, some was okay. Little gold ring made what it was worth and so on. And then there was one or two sports pistols. The coins, these lot of coins this week, they didn't do very well at all. And then even onto the stuff here that I thought some weeks we would get pounds and pounds for that. It was making just above the scrap price this week. Some of the chains did better. The chains and necklaces and bracelets and things like that Kerb one there. You can see that one in the middle there. That one did okay. Again, because it's quite fashionable, quite trendy to wear them, so people will. And they'll pay that bit more. Now, one of the things that was always going to be hard for me this week was to sell all of these bloody ironing boards. Look at them. There was so many of them. Brand new ironing boards. But, again, look at the shops. £40, £50 a piece now for these sort of ironing boards. They're not your cheap ones. They're your good quality ones. If you was buying these at £4 and £5 yesterday, there's money to be made on Facebook Marketplace. Yes, it might be a slow burn, but it's money in the bank. So why wouldn't you do it? I don't get it why you wouldn't, unless you can't be bothered. The films and stuff like that, and some of the slides and things, some of these old calculator things, all this stuff was making money this week. Plenty of people in there for it, and this was at the point that we had the printer problems in the office and I had to shoot out. So I missed a lot of this section of the auction, I'm afraid. At least I said it all did okay. We did have quite a few not solds yesterday, but we had plenty of people picking up the not solds after the sale as well, which is always good, because it saves a lot of stuff going to landfill, and we don't want that. So as we come down here, you got through the middle of the room, started selling off all this stuff, and again, one or two decent prices, one or two things were cheap, but it was what it was. You got onto the back tables, and this is where I was back at the auction room at this point, and I heard her selling the Dalmatians and that. And the Dalmatians, like I said in the sneak peek last week, thought they might do okay. Find the collectors for them. There's a lot of collectible stuff in there. Different toys and things. Some of those did okay. It was a mixed bag on pictures and mirrors this week. Some of it did okay, some of it really didn't, some of it really struggled, but a lot of these pictures here were home done ones. Okay, so this is why they struggled, whereas the ones that were done by more named artists, so to speak, that have been sold through galleries and stuff, they did a bit better. Box of assorted toys, there was money, there was bids for this one there, Sonic the Hedgehog. I think that did about 30 odd quid as well. Anything old gaming, Super Mario, Sonic and stuff like that from back in the day, you can guarantee there's going to be collectors for it. Same as Pokemon now. Pokemon's had a big revival as well. CDs in the back room were okay. There was bids for them. There was doing 14, 16s and stuff like that. Some of them £9, I think. But again, it's all about the genres with the CDs. It's no good just thinking all CDs will sell for loads of money, because they won't. They've got to be the right sort. As we came down here, books were selling again, £26, I think it was, 26, 28 for the Ladybird books. And of course, as always, we sold every single bag of the soft toys. Then gets into the tool room. Well, the tool room, petrol cans, yeah, they were selling. Now, there were some very, very good tools in the tool room this week, and anything that was any good in there this week really did make some money. But I did notice there's one or two bits that were cheap in there that people could have bought to make a few quid on, and that's where, you really need to get to the viewing days and view the stuff properly into the boxes, have a good look at them, and find out, where the bargains are to be had. And then if you can spy something that somebody misses, then of course you'll make money. This one here, the fish finder, that made a few quid, but I don't think they're that cheap to buy. So that one was okay. These sort of things, these are always selling okay because they're a lot of money to buy. These are £40, £50 now in the shops. If you can pick one up for 6 to 15 quid in the auction room, well, why wouldn't you? It does exactly the same job. As you come down here, we was doing all sorts of different tools. The message board sold, that one there, LED one, and then it was a socket set. I think that did about 25-30 quid as well. But again, a lot of the stuff was like new. It was really, really good condition. In fact, most of it looked like it hadn't been used. That one there, for instance, that chainsaw, whatever it was. Look, it's gleaming. And then we came down here. We had those boards there. Now, they sold cheap, those, and these sort of display boards for shops and stuff. And they're in Perspex. They would have been a lot of money to buy those. And again, finding the right buyer for them could net you a good profit as well. This one sold for a few pounds. I think it was about 80. Maybe over 100 quid. That one. It was the planer and shaper or something, but it's like new. Look, it's I think it was at Remington or Axminster or whatever it was called, but that thicknesser there made a few quid. But again, because it was in new condition, that was a bargain. Heat exchanger, again, to the right person, that would be a lot of money. I think it sold for 4 quid, so somebody got a bargain. As we come down this way, the compressor, 2 bids on the book, I believe. It was £150, and the first bidder got it. But again, look at it. It's like it was never used. Even if it maybe it was used, maybe it wasn't. Who knows? But it just looked absolutely immaculate. Things like that sold okay. These ones here, these are okay. These are the old British Rail sort of safety light things, but they're not the old ones, which are more the ones that people want. They're sort of the more modern ones. They're not super modern, but they're not really in the high-end collectible bracket as which you'd like. Fishing gear all sold. A lot of the fishing gear was very old hat. You hear it from the fishermen coming. Again, here's a good tip. Don't just buy any old fishing gear, because when you listen to the fishermen that come into the auction room, they know what they want, and they want specific stuff. They're not just prepared. I mean, to me and you probably, a rod's a rod, a reel's a reel. Not to these guys. So it's really one of those where, speaking of fishing, we're going to be doing a prestige fishing trip in the next few weeks. We're going to be hopefully getting 2 boats out of Grimsby, and we'll be doing that. We'll let everyone know what the prices are going to be soon enough. It's a day out in the Humber, and it's a good laugh. We've done one before, and if you've got some sea legs and you fancy a day out, then do come and have a look at that with us as well. This one here, the trailer, it was some sort of car transporter or something. There's hoops on here for strapping it in and all the rest of it. It's a flatbed trailer. That did £200 in the sale yesterday. We got onto the front table. Front table was fantastic yesterday. Everything on there. I don't think there was anything that didn't sell, to be fair. The fire engines didn't make much money, but that shows you where that collectible's gone. Them kind of collectibles. There was an interesting game in there on that one. That made a few quid, 60 quid, something like that. The trains, the Flying Scotsman and so on, with the carriages, that all sold. Gaming, there was lots of hands for those. The drone made a few quid as well. Not much money. Be careful with those drones. These big drones here don't make much money anymore, so be careful with those. Don't look at it and think, oh great, it's a drone, I'll buy it. Sailor radio. Sailor's a very good marine radio, very good make, and always fetches a premium. I think that did 40 or 50 quid. The propeller was cheap at a £5, but again, nothing super special about that. And then as we came down here, more and more gaming, and onto the Game Boy. I think that did 60 odd pounds, something like that. So again, if you see any of these kicking around and they're cheap, buy them, because they're making a few quid in the auction room. Got onto the appliances were making more money than normal this week, because we really do suffer from a lack of dealers coming in. So if you're thinking about, I don't know why people aren't just buying these up. You've got a garage, buy them up, sell them out your garage on Facebook. There's plenty of money to be made on those. If you're picking a washer up at 40 quid, 30, 40 quid, sometimes even a tenner, you can get 80, 90 and £100 for them. It's a very easy way to increase your income. The dryer there made a few quid, and I've gone wrong there. And then onto the furniture. Well, furniture is what it always is. Some of these were quite cheap. Some of the wall units, tables and chairs, there wasn't loads of money around. That was a lovely unit, that was. It was so clean and tidy. Hardly any marks on it. That's a beautiful thing. That did 60, 70 quid, I think. And there was quite a few bids, few hands for the Singer sewing machine there. And I think Chris ended up buying that one, and he was happy with the price as well. I think about 30 quid. They were cheap. at £4 or £5, or was there a tenner? I can't remember. I think there was a tenner, and then that there was quite a nice thing, and I think Chris bought that as well. The sort of the boat wine rack and so on. And then as you came down here, there was an absolute bargain of the day. Now these are not everybody's colour. They do look old-fashioned, but they were only bought last year at 1,700 quid. They made £4. It's disgusting, really, but it is what it is. It's the auction for you. So there you go. And I bought those for the auction room because they match the ones that we've got. So there you go, everybody. It was an interesting day at Prestige, and lots of sales, lots of stuff going on, lots of people in the room, lots of new faces as well. It was our 8th birthday celebrations. Now, the podcast for the 8th birthday celebrations, we had a problem with copyright. You may have seen on Facebook. That's going out next Friday now, all being well. Don't forget, if you are on YouTube, do have a look at the house that's coming up for sale in the Lincolnshire Wolds, close to North Thoresby. There's a lovely video on there about that one, and there will be some news in the next couple of weeks of some other houses coming on as well. So there you go. We've got another busy week ahead of us this week, and lots of stuff. All the backups are full once again. Lots of great stuff coming through to the auction. We're looking forward to this one. We hope you are. So thanks ever so much for watching this. If you do enjoy the content, do hit the thumbs up and give us a subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, and it does help our channel grow. Thanks ever so much, everybody, and we'll see you all very soon at the auction.